Hello, everybody. My name is Levi, and welcome to Northwest Magic. I'm here with Howie. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself, Howie. Hello.
Hello, I'm Howie.
Oh, it's wonderful having you on the show here. Well, it's not really my show, but it's a show nonetheless. And we're here to talk about our favorite team
Team
up
up cards.
cards.
The team up cards from the new March of Machines set to come out in a couple weeks. Some of them are from the main set, and some are from the Commander decks.
So, we can just jump right into it.
All right, we got 7 cards. Coming in at number 7, we have Galta and Maverin. It's 3 green, white for a legendary creature, dinosaur vampire. I, lo- I love the type lines on all of these. It's a 12/12 with Trample. It says whenever you attack, choose one. Create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur creature token with Trample, where X is the greatest power among other attacking creatures. And create X, it's a 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of other attacking creatures.
Mm, very green card, very green.
Very green. It's got green with the big stompy, and it does have the white feel with the vampires. One of the reasons why I really like this card is that it kind of has that pseudo hasty effect because it says whenever you attack. Galta and Maverin don't need to be the ones attacking, so as soon as this card comes down, you can make a, you know, 4/4, 12/12, or whatever ends up being, or just a bunch of vampires if you're going wide.
Yeah, yeah, I actually really like it too. You get to have the best of both worlds. Which you tend to be going in one direction or the other with a lot of these types of decks. White being the kind of go wide and green being the stompy. So it's kind of nice having something that fits both those shoes.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely ways to build this, if this was your commander, to build this card as sort of a flexible plan where, if you end up having like the original Galta come down early as like a 12/12, then you can swing in with a 12/12 and make a 12/12, or maybe you have one of those instant speed X spells like Secure the Waste or Grand Crescendo and just go wide right before your turn starts.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like it all could fit in pretty well, and you know cause a little bit of variance in your games, which is always fun.
Yeah, I could definitely see going pretty wide with this and then just casting one of those big just gotcha spells that basically just ends the game.
Yeah, and definitely on on one note of this commander is that it is at 7 mana value, which is a lot. So you want to make sure you have stuff to protect. Either there's stuff in green that can help with it not being countered, or green and white both have indestructible spells at instant speed, such as heroic intervention, or Grand Crescendo again gives indestructible.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool card, very simple game plan. Um, that's probably why something like this is coming in at number 7 where really cool flavor, really cool idea, but it is simple. It is very simple game plan. But that's not always bad. It's not always
No.
bad.
Sometimes you just gotta turn your brain off and swing your creatures.
Make a big dinosaur. I love
Make a
me a big
big
dinosaur.
dinosaur.
Yeah, I think this will also fit in really, really well with new players.
It will.
Yeah, I know it for a fact if I like when I first started, if I saw this, I'd absolutely be going hard on this. I would love this card.
Oh yeah, I
Mm,
remember not long after I started was when Ixalan came out and dinosaurs became a real big thing. I never built it, but Gishath was always on my radar, and this would fit perfectly in there.
yeah, absolutely. Well, beautiful, beautiful Galta. Really glad to see him come back in this with Mavrin. All right, up next is Thalia and the Gitrog monster. For one white, black, and green, we have a legendary creature, Human Frog Horror. It is a 4/4 with first strike, death touch. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. Best of both worlds yet again. You have all the wonderful bits and pieces that the Gitrog monster has, with some of that lance energy and kind of those like combos that you can do with that. And you're kind of roughing up your opponent by making them have to sack some things. And the first strike death touch. I mean, come on, that is just beautiful.
It's great as a blocker. It's great as an attacker. um, you can go different ways with this card. Really, you can go like real stacksy with the lean into that with the creatures and non-basic lands entering tapped, and you're in white, so you have all those stacks pieces you can lean into. You can go really every line of this card is a different way you can go with the deck. You can go straight landfall, or you can go sort of aristocrats on the last bit there. Um, this card, I feel like, is out of all the team up cards, is the most like we took Gitrog Monster and we took Thalia. We mixed the cards together, took their lines of text, and just slapped it on the card.
You know what? It does. It does kind of feel that way.
All the other
Uh,
all the other cards feel like, oh, we kind of like took the flavor of this and the flavor of that and kind of melded them together into one effect. But this is like, all right, we took two from this guy, we took two from this guy. All right, that's the card. Call
yeah,
it a day, guys. Grab your
it,
paycheck.
it's almost like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but it's almost like the Gitrog monster himself, the original. You might as well just play this version at this point because you have access to white. He's even better. I don't remember. Does the Gitrog monster have Death Touch?
He does. That's where the death
He
touch
does.
comes
Okay.
from. Thalia
Okay.
has first strike. The one thing that the original Gistrog monster does have over this is that whenever a land enters the graveyard, you draw a card from anywhere. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you sack a land, like you can draw a whole bunch. This one might be a little more consistent because it can sack something every time it attacks, and it's a safe attacker with first strike and death touch.
When you saw this card, did you think of any interesting combos or think of anything like what came first to your mind when you saw this? What you
I
would do with
have
it?
always been a landfall guy. Like I love landfall strategies and decks, and I have a four-color Omnath deck, and I just wanted to make a whole bunch of tokens on like with things like Scoot Swarm or what else? It's a little bit different in these colors because we're adding black and we're getting rid of red, which is one of the better landfall colors, and getting rid of blue. But just those landfall, make a creature, and you can kind of lean into the aristocrat style with that too. Like I'm thinking kind of landfall, but then you throw an Ashnod's Altar in there because why not? Why don't you have all these creatures and then make a bunch of mana from it after you're making mana from your lands?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Um, Sounds like a very fun deck to play. There's a few different directions. I like the colors. Abzan is not really a deck. I don't really even have a deck with those colors, but I feel like maybe if I were to make an Abzan deck, this might be up there in one of the choices. I love the art too. That's another
Mm,
piece. We have to talk about the art
it's
because
awesome.
loved it.
Thalia looks majestic with her hair on top of this fog with the crazy teeth.
Yeah, that's definitely what I would look like if I was writing the Gitrog monster, probably.
Yeah, just dunking on some Phyrexians.
Dunking on some Phyrexians, yo.
Let's talk about our number 5 card. I'll go ahead and read it. It's Alinda and Azor. It's 3 white, blue, and black for a legendary creature, Vampire Night Sphinx. It's a 6/6. It has flying and ward 2. Whenever Alinda and Azor attacks, you may pay X white, blue, and black, and if you do, you draw X cards. At the beginning of each end step, you may pay 4 life. If you do, create a number of 1/1 black Vampire Knight creature tokens with lifelink equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn.
I gotta tell you, I absolutely love the color identity of Esper. Ever since I started playing, I have loved the color identity. Making tokens, drawing cards, discard synergies. It's always been something that has appealed to me as an actual identity. When it comes to play, however, it turns out that a lot of times they haven't really clicked with me super hard. However, when I look at this, I see that you're getting kind of double the value here. You're drawing cards, but then in that same X pay, that same mana that you're paying for, you're also getting bodies on the on the battlefield. So, um, I love the double value there. Uh, it's just my only gripe with it is that it is 6 mana, 6 CMC.
6 is a lot. It does have the built-in protection with the ward too when it comes down, but it's 6 is still a lot. Um, this card comes in the Knight Tribal deck actually, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to run this as like a Knight Tribal commander because Esper has a lot of Knights synergy in it. You could run that way, and you could go Vampire Tribal if you wanted to, or just in general draw cards, make a bunch of tokens, go wide. I mean, that last ability at the beginning of each instep, pay 4 life, create the tokens. It doesn't have to be cards you drew with the second ability on the card, or the second line rather. You can just wheel and then end your turn make seven 1/1s, like, and just get a bunch of value off that.
Very, very true. After looking at it again, that definitely does kind of open my eyes into more building strategies. Definitely, it's definitely really cool because a lot of token strategies, you really want to hit the ground running. You want to get ahead of your opponents. This one, especially with the 6 CMC, um, it's a little slower when it comes to token strategies.
It's at a little bit of an awkward spot at 6 mana.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's my really only thing about it, but I do love the fact that all you got to do is pay for life. As somebody, as you've taught me, as something I've learned after playing Commander, is life is a resource. For life is nothing in Commander, especially if you get a big extra or do a wheel. Windfall would be beautiful in this deck. Now I know that's not everybody's favorite card, but come on, Windfall would be super great in here. I mean, imagine the one card that lets you lose half your life, draw half your library,
Peer into the abyss.
peer in, peer into the abyss.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're probably drawing 30, 40 cards, and then you pay 4 more life on top of that, and all of a sudden you're flooded with tokens.
You are absolutely flooded with tokens. Uh, make sure to try to give them haste or something, because if somebody board wipes you, well, you just lost half your life, more than half your life, and don't have a board state. So uh, I love this. I do really like the identity of this commander, but I feel like it does have its risks, and it does get a little. It needs the gears to be running a little bit. You gotta really push it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but also I wanted to bring it back a little bit. The tokens do have lifelink, so even if you go crazy with like a peer into the abyss, it might not be too hard to get it back.
Yeah, true, 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 true.
And one thing I also wanted to point out about this commander, um, Esper is a great start your turn, draw, and then pass the turn color combination. Like you just hold up your mana and play the game at instant speed. That last ability triggers at the beginning of each instep. So you could totally just like say pass the turn and right before your turn starts, do like a pull from tomorrow where X is. I mean, you got 6 mana to start. Let's say X is 5, and then you start your turn with 5/1/1s.
Ooh, I actually really like that. You're. I'm trying to downplay this commander, but you're just upping it right now. I'm loving this.
Yeah, I think it's a sweet commander. I think all the lines really work out really well. And if you think about a lot of the synergy pieces, like you trying to draw cards, so like the newer Shieldred can go in here perfectly because you're going to draw the cards, you're going to pay the life, but you're going to gain the life back whenever you draw a card. Things like that. Or the Esper Wheel Commander from New Capenna. I can't remember what it's called, but whenever you draw a card, you gain a life, and target opponent loses one life.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of synergy in these colors for this strategy, and I really feel like leaning into that last bit of text. And if you just so happen to be empty-handed and have the extra mana, sure, whenever it attacks, draw the X cards. But I won't be doing that much if I ever build this deck.
Alrighty, let's move on to Zimone and Dina. It is black, green, and blue for a legendary creature, human dryad. It's a 3/4. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And for tap, sacrifice another creature, draw a card. You may play a card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you control 8 or more lands, repeat this process once. What do you think about this one?
I really like this card. So it's a joke in the community, right? Where every set we get a Simic card that does something that you already want to do, and then you draw a card and maybe you gain a life, and then you put a land down. And I mean, that's kind of what this does, but it feels a little more fun that you have to sacrifice a creature, you have to tap it. So without some setup, maybe some untap setup or sacking some tokens you make or whatever, like you got to jump through a couple hoops, but the payoff is totally worth it.
Yeah, really like this. Um, quite a bit. You get to have a bit of those land synergies again, which coming from you seems like you'd like it. Uh, I also like land as well. I
Every
also
deck
like
has lands.
land. Yeah, as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, that's
And people like playing
true.
cards, and you need lands to play cards.
And what's really cool is that each turn, right, you get to
That's
draw
right.
this every time you. So, I mean, if you find a way to I mean, well, this kind of doubles back to being able to draw on on everybody's turn. So, hold up some instance, get that 2 life and gain 2 life trigger. I mean, bottom end, you could totally be coming out with gaining 6 life. Everybody loses 6 life in a whole turn cycle. Not
It's
too
target opponent.
shabby. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes.
So
Oh,
each
target
player
opponent. Oh,
moves two.
excuse me. Target opponent. Yes. Target opponent. Not every opponent.
So
So
you're gaining 6 life, and
gain 6 life. Maybe some unlucky SOB is losing 6, or maybe you just take it around the table. You're a nice person, so.
a nice person sharing the love. But like one of my best case scenarios, like imagining with this card is like you have this out, you already have 8 lands because you've been ramping. It's a ramping kind of deck. You have any card, landfall, make a token.
Hmm.
And then you got Seedborn Muse, and then every turn you're sacking a creature, drawing a card, putting a land down, making a new one token to sack the next turn, and then you go to your end step and you untap everything with Seedborn Muse, and you got the engine right there.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this card and immediately just really liked it. I like some Simic stuff. Uh, Even though, yeah, Simic can kind of play similarly to a lot of other Simic decks, but kind of adding in that sacrifice matters stuff into ramp is a very cool just pairing that I don't personally see a whole lot. I mean, sacrifice a creature that wants to be sacrificed, right? Getting double value. I'm all about getting value out of uh, getting multiple values out of one action. I love doing that. It feels very efficient to me.
Yeah, and then you activate their ability, you sack the thing, you do their thing, and you get some triggers on top of it, and it's just fun to keep track of the stack like that. And get all the value. I mean, even if you got just what a Zulaport Cutthroat out and you're sacking tokens, you're increasing that drain and gain right there.
At 3 CMC and kind of all the things you're doing, this card allows you to you're always doing something. You know, even if you've drawn your second card, you're doing something to somebody else. You're gaining life. You tap her, you sack something, you're drawing a card, you're putting lands on the field. You're just I feel like this is a really good card for somebody that likes to stay active in the game. You're able to
100%.
just do it. You're able to just boom, done. I got something going on, and that's something that I personally really like. I really enjoy decks that kind of let you just keep moving.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just burn, but like just
Just playing the
yeah,
game at instant speed.
playing the game at instant speed. Absolutely, you can put it well into
Yeah.
words there. Yeah, really cool card. Art is fine for me. That one's fine.
It's fine art.
Yeah, hopefully they got some cooler.
We'll give the art a fine out of 10.
A fine out of 10. Yeah, I'm ready
Let's
to
move on.
talk about some is it?
Is it recently my most favorite color combination? I love this card already. I'll tell you before I even tell you what it is. Number 3.
Mm.
It's Beryl and Kari Zev. It's 1 blue and a red for a legendary creature, human, the most simple of the team up types. It's a 2/4 with first strike and menace. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, you may cast a spell with lesser mana value that shares a card type with it from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, create First Mate Ragavan, a legendary 2/1 red monkey pirate creature token. It gains haste until end of turn. I have, ooh, I think I have four decks that have blue and red in them at least, off the top of my head. I want to put this in every single one. Like,
Oh,
like I play lots of instants these days. I do play the game at instant speed now, and it's also an each turn thing. So you can do it during my turn, your turn, Justin's turn, whoever's turn. It doesn't matter. Being able to like to get the free spell every turn, that's so much value. And if you can do something easy like a draw spell into a damage spell, and then next turn a draw spell into a damage spell, and just it feels like the spell slinger version of Zamon and Dina, where instead of you're drawing and playing lands, it's like you're casting spells and drawing, and you're doing things, and you just don't stop doing things.
yeah, actually, I'm agreeing with you here. I didn't really look too hard at this card until somewhat recently as well, and I'm noticing as too that if you don't, you create a first mate Ragavan. So I mean, even if you're not casting that mana, even if the thing that you get off the top of your library is not that CMC you're looking for, you're still getting the 2/1 red monkey pirate. I love me a
Yeah.
2/1 red monkey pirate.
You're always at least getting something.
Yes.
And maybe something interesting about this card, and you won't see it in just with this as a commander much, I don't believe. But if you play this in like a Grixis deck, like you add the black and you care about dying triggers, you can make First Mate Ragavan every player's turn, and because it's a legendary, it will die. And you can get, I don't know how, you can get some dice triggers off that. I guess just something simple, Zoo Report Cutthroat.
Ooh, I love that idea. I think this would fit really well in a spell slingery with black a spell slingery deck with sack matters and getting stuff out of your graveyard. Uh, that sounds really cool actually. The more we're
Mhm.
talking about this card, the more I'm liking it.
Like, I've been trying to build a Kess Dissident Mage list recently, and this would fit, honestly, perfectly in there. Like,
Oh,
100%.
absolutely. And that first strike and menace too. That's a menace all on its own. You get all this packaged into 3 mana. That is insane. This to me this looks like a 4 mana card. If you showed this to me without looking at it, I'd be like, oh, that's probably 4, maybe 5 CMC.
Yeah.
you know. But this is a very cool. This is very cool. Definitely something I'd put in the 99. Uh, this is a commander, absolutely, totally would work. But I do really like this in the 99.
This I agree. Like if you're gonna play I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I feel like if you're gonna just play Is It, there's other just Is It commanders that can be the commander a little bit better than this, like Mizzix or Niv Mizzet or any of those other cards. But I do love it in the 99. Like it can fit in so many places. Like I kind of want to put this in my Kaikar, my Calamax, and maybe a Kess deck if I build it.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about probably throwing this as well into some of my more spell slingery decks. It's almost, this reminds me of Rashmi, just the original Rashmi.
Yeah,
You know, it does a very similar thing
it does.
uh, in a nice, neat little 3 CMC package with red. It
Yeah,
has red.
has red,
Yeah,
the best color.
this is a this is a fantastic card. I really like it. And look at Baral. He's cool. I'm looking at him right now. He's got like a cool assassin look to him.
Yeah, and then you got Ragavan on the right of the art there. He's all little. You see him?
Oh my gosh. What a little cutie. He's just running around. Wow.
But
Yeah.
Miranda's a 2/1.
Running
And he's
around.
also red, the best color.
Running around as a little 2-1. Yeah, he's the best color.
He is the best color.
Um, cool.
All right,
Um, uh,
so.
oh.
We were trading off, but I want to read this one.
That's fine. I don't even know how to pronounce this one.
All right.
So that is perfect. I'll
Okay,
let you do
so
it.
this I was not big on this card. I didn't want this on the list at first, and then I was telling Levi earlier. I read one word on the card, and it changed everything for me. All right. Number 2 is Zergo and Ojitai. It's 2 white, red, and blue. I said that in the wrong order. That's fine. Legendary creature, Orc Dragon. It's a 4/4 with flying and haste. Haste is always good. Zergo and Ojitai has hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. Built-in protection. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player or battle, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You may return one of those dragons to its owner's hand. So, the one word, and maybe I'm going over the top here, but the one word I really like on this is battle. I'm not super huge on a lot of these new battle cards. Some of them are really cool and they have cool backsides. Most of them, But reading that, originally I justified combat damage to a player, and I was like, okay, you can get 3 triggers a turn with 3 dragons. But if I'm playing a whole bunch of battles, I want to see how many triggers I can get a turn because it's once per player and once per battle. And
Oh, yeah.
so I just want to play a bunch of dragons and then attack a bunch of people and a bunch of my own battles, and then start. You'll start sifting through your deck real quick, looking at the top 3, getting one of them, and like imagine doing that like 6 times in a turn because like let's say your deck is full of a lot of the battles and you put 3 battles down. It seems feasible. And like what I really want to do is give all my dragons a double strike because it is a combat damage trigger. So I want to see 40 cards in one turn. Grab 15 of them or something. But I feel like you could have a crazy explosive turn, sift through your deck, get the card draw, get the mana, get everything you need, and just like go to town. It's all there on one card.
That is awesome. Yeah, I actually really wanted to hear your thoughts on this because you were telling me earlier what word it was. You didn't tell me what word, and I was like, "Is it what? Is it battle? What could it be?" But yeah, you explaining that really really opened my eyes to this, and wow, you can actually have a very explosive turn. And who doesn't like dragons, right?
That's right. It's a dragon tribal deck.
Very true. It is a dragon tribal, but you can do a lot with it. You know, it's not your average dragon tribal deck. Yeah, because I have
It's weird colors for Dragon Tribal.
it is a very weird color. You know, not having green may slow this down just a bit, but I mean, you got haste, bro. You got haste. You got flying. You got hexproof when this thing comes in. It does its combat trigger. It comes right back out. It's basically a built-in dash mechanic. This
Yeah,
is cool, dude. This is super, super cool
I like it a lot.
and
And
unique.
it's very unique, and it takes advantage of that new battle type, which, like I said, I wasn't too fond of. Like some of the cards, they're great. Some of the cards I'm huge on, but most of them, eh. But this, it doesn't matter. Like you could play a bad battle, and you're still gonna like attack it with the battle, get one, get at least one card off the top, maybe more if you get double strike.
I'd love to see a list from you as well and
I,
kind of see how
I'm
you
gonna do
build
a deck
it.
tech on this later, like guaranteed. Future episode spoilers.
Yeah, this is
One of the other
cool.
things I wanted to point out is the last sentence, and you when we were talking about this card prior to the video, you did point this out. You may return one of those dragons to its owner's hand. There are enter the battlefield triggers with a lot of the dragons out there. I couldn't name any for you off the top of my head, but you can do some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you
Or
got
use some
Terror
ETBs.
of the well, Terror of the Peaks has
Yeah.
other dragons deal damage. That would be cool. Terror of the
Um,
Peaks would go great in this deck.
yeah. I mean, it's just every bit of this card I love. I went from literally hating this card, being like, it's not good. Isn't it mythic? It's a mythic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to pull this in a pack. I don't open packs, but didn't want to pull one in a pack. I wasn't ready for it, and then everything changed when I read Battle. I just want to do some kind of craziest, jankiest stuff, but draw 15 cards off of it in one turn.
Yeah, and I don't think your opponents would really see it coming.
No,
Because
it's
the battle part is very overlooked. I overlooked it.
very innocuous. Oh, I'm actually looking right now. We do got some good trigger. We can throw Astral Dragon in there. I'm pretty sure you can make copies of the battles. I'm not sure how that works. That's kind of weird. Galazeth Prismari, you can make a treasure when it enters the battlefield. Um, like you mentioned earlier, Terror of the Peaks. So there are some good ETBs with dragons in these colors. So it just works out well. I like it a lot.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. Open-ended, especially for a dragon deck, it kind of brings an otherwise maybe exhausted tribe some new life. Yeah, super cool card. Would love to see it in action. Would love to play against it. I think it would also be quite the spectacle to
It,
to get absolutely destroyed by it.
it has that feel where it's like fun to lose against if it would pop off. If someone else had this deck, I would love to see it pop off across the table from me.
Yeah, same. And there's something to be said about that. There really is. You know, losing elegantly and having a good time while losing, because we all know there are definitely some cards and some commanders that really don't help that. Our number one, which incidentally also has a little monkey friend in there.
He's got two team ups.
Alrighty, so we are talking about Rashmi and Ragavan for one and a green, a blue, and a red. We have a legendary creature, Elf Monkey. I don't even know if that combination has ever been done in Magic. Probably not.
No.
It is a 2/4. Whenever you cast your first spell during each of your turns, exile the top card of target opponent's library and create a treasure token. Then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. If it's a spell with mana value less than the number of artifacts you control. If you don't cast it this way, you may cast it this turn. So this has almost everything that I personally love. I love cheating. I love treasures and getting kind of like stealing stuff out of people's other people's libraries. It just kind of has it all, and it's got the little monkey that I just love and adore.
I
Uh,
think I think I kind of want to build this deck too. I don't think I will, but I kind of want to. And I think that the best card in the deck would be Academy Manufactor.
oh yeah,
Exile the top card of target opponent's library, right? And then create a treasure token. So with Academy Manufactor, it's an artifact itself, but then you would make 3 tokens every time you did that. And the second bit of the text is then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. It's a spell less than the number of artifacts you control, right? So right there, that's 4. And I feel like the average deck is, less than 4 right there. So if you get Academy Manufactor down early and then cast this and go off from there, whew, you go from 4 to 7 to 10 treasures or artifacts rather, just like that, and you're casting everything for free at that point that you get off opponent's top.
oh yeah. You're taking the top of that, and there is something about these kinds of cards. They kind of have that Itali feel to them, where yeah, you know what, you're gonna whiff sometimes, but you are going into it knowing that, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Do I think it's gonna be the absolute strongest? No. You're trying to take things off the top of other people's libraries. Usually, when you depend on the other player's cards, that can
Yeah.
have the whiffing effects. But
You can totally whiff, but you are in blue. There are cards that let you see the top of opponent's libraries. I mean, Jitaxian Probe, it literally costs 1 Phyrexian blue, so it's just 2 life to do it. You can at least see if, hey, maybe that guy might have something cool. Oh, it's a land. I'm going to target somebody else.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
and just Rash me and this monkey and treasure. Has it all.
Yeah, love treasure. I've loved treasure for a while now. I just love popping off the treasure and getting a whole bunch of mana, and it just works. Like you said, this card is just dumb fun. Like, even if you're making a treasure, and you can just keep going from there.
And what's
And
nice is that it doesn't sorry to cut you off, but it doesn't limit you to it being anything. It can be whatever you want.
yeah,
That's another big piece. It can be a permanent. It can be an instant. It can be whatever, because it's this turn, and
yep,
you just don't have to pay for it. So you're getting all this treasure, and you're kind of hoarding all that treasure. You're not necessarily, especially well, if you have Academy Manufactor out, you're doing a little better. But even if you don't have them out, you're hoarding that treasure. But it doesn't matter because you're not spending any mana on that. You can do your own thing, load up the deck with things to just find what's on top of people's libraries and get some card draw and just play some cool stuff and just see what your opponents have, play their decks.
yeah. I love that kind of style of deck. I've never built one, but I've seen cards and commanders and strategies like it, and it's just fun. Yeah, sometimes you whiff because you're just grabbing stuff that only synergizes with their commander, but it's just fun.
You're taking it. It's whatever you need it to be. Yes, you can whiff, but I mean, it's going to be unlikely because you at least will have something. Take somebody's mana rock. Cool. That's another artifact for you.
Yeah, everyone plays Soul Ring just about, so you have a better chance of getting stolen with this card than any other card in your opponent's decks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Super cool card. Absolutely love it. I'll have a lot of fun in the building process of this. Um, I am in your boat of I definitely want to build this and to get it. Will I? Well, we don't know yet. I will have to see. But yeah, very cool card. There's a reason why it's like my absolute favorite in this list. And yeah, super cool.
Sweet.
Well, I think
Does that
that
wrap
just
it up?
about covers it.
That's it. That's a top 17 of cards. The rest don't matter. Don't even look at them.
Yeah, don't even look at them.
No, they
Uh,
ain't worth it. Nah, some are cool, but these are the top 7.
thanks for coming to my show, Howie. As my special guest.
All right, your show. Totally.
Yeah, my show. This is my
So
show now.
thanks for whoever's tuning in. This was the top 7 team up cards of March of the Machine. I hope to see more team up cards in the future. And yeah, thanks and see you.
Thank you. Bye.